be live. Let's validate that, shall we?
We're going to find
Almost.
out in a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
YouTube
live
is
now on
typically the first to show up for me. I see us on YouTube now.
Twitter's the fastest for sure. Now, I don't know how to monitor a YouTube channel live.
We are live on X.
Okay, let me go to my channel here, YouTube Studio. Are we technically live on here? How does this work?
We are live. I mean, you have to go to the actual YouTube channel.
Yeah, I want to go to the actual thing in case by some miracle people get hey, there you go. We got somebody in here. Tara Marco. Okay.
Welcome.
What's up, Tara Marco? Welcome. You're first in the house. You're first in the movie theater. Get the popcorn ready. We're just checking to see all the other channels if they're live. Check IG. I think I got to do something extra here. All right, so I think we're good to go on IG. Yeah. We're straight. And we're live on IG too.
Hey, Instagram is live now. That's actually the first time.
You see it? Oh, you just joined it? Okay, you see it then. Cool.
Yeah, I joined it for a half second just to kind of see what's going on there, but
how do I
it's working.
share that? Okay, so.
Instagram is live now.
Whoa. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of this echo. Hold on. Let me mute my phone. Sorry, Marco. First time doing this on the instant reaction, so it's very amateurish of us.
Yeah, we gotta tighten this up. It'll happen soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're straight. Copy link. Okay, we're good. Let's just do it. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Officially. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Story Archives. We're back with Silo Season 2, Episode 1, our instant reaction coverage of it, and it's titled The Engineer. Zach, how you doing?
I am doing good. It's a fitting title though, The Engineer. I mean, I feel like this entire episode was about Juliette's ingenuity as she traverses this new silo.
Yeah, I'd say so. Did you think that the name Engineer had anything to do with her, or did you think it might be the guy who's inside of that room? Because we do start the episode with Timmy, the torchbearer, who is running that torch over to his father, who's about to lead the rebellion in whatever number silo this might be. And he says the engineer has a message. So that silo was already going to go down, regardless of what took place inside, whether it was the rebellion or whatever it may be. And yeah, that was pretty much the issue there, which by the way, now I'm more focused because I can see that the comments actually come in through Restream. So I've been bouncing to each of them.
You don't need to look around everywhere.
Cool,
It all comes through here. Yeah, we're good. No, I thought the title was really focused around Juliette, not the guy down, hiding away. Because I mean, she is an engineer to begin with, and again, like just so much of the episode was her trying to create things. I mean, even the flashbacks were about her, fixing things. So I think it was really just around her. It was a really kind of slow paced, episode. There's probably aside from the rebellion that happened at the beginning, most of it was just Juliette, this entire thing. So it was interesting. I do wonder though, or I think I should say that this silo is really like just the neighboring silo. So maybe this is like, I don't know, 19 or something like that. I feel like it's just right next door.
Well, I'm going to be honest. If of all the silos to choose from, and now she's got to know there's got to be multiple silos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just walk a little further. Maybe don't go to the one that has thousands of corpses crawling out of it. But then again, I can see why she'd want to choose that one because it's adjacent to her silo. And it seems like she's putting two and two together from what I can tell in this episode, because one of the first things she does is she breaks the glass inside of the new silo to see if there's cameras there too. So then that shows that there's some sort of organization to the structure of which her original silo was being observed, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of wish she went and explored a bit farther. I'd love to know what's out there near that cityscape that we saw at the end of the last season, and then the little recap that we got before this. Um, maybe it will happen at some point. I do agree. I probably would not go into the silo that had thousands of bodies. Just, I mean, it looked like there was like a zombie apocalypse, just like everything trying to crawl out of there, and they just burned to death or something. But
Yeah.
I do think though that seeing that really solidifies the fact that outside is dangerous. It is not safe. If anybody was still questioning that from season 1, I think this is our guarantee on that.
Is that confirmed though? I mean, this is, remember, we get the recap and it says
Mhm.
140 years in the past the rebellion takes place. I'm not saying that the rebellion in this silo took place at the exact same time as the rebellion in the other silo, but if it was a nuclear apocalypse up top,
Mhm.
eventually that clears from the atmosphere and you can return back to the land. So nobody's officially take. I know. I no.
You've
No,
got
never mind. Never
radiation
mind.
that would
Never mind.
last for
I take it back because Holston dies going up
her.
there, right? So,
Everyone
and
dies
that
going
was
up there.
and that was relatively close to Juliet going up there. So
Yeah,
take it
within the
back.
span of like a couple of years maybe.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think it's bad outside. I think it's very bad outside. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's, like, still nuclear fallout or something. I'm assuming it's nuclear fallout. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what the end thing is that's really getting them. I was honestly a bit surprised, though, about how quickly Juliet took off her suit. I mean, she, like,
Yes.
rushed down in there and bashed her helmet in, and then just,
Well,
like,
she
dust the
had
whole
to
thing off right
bash her.
away.
Well, you know why she had to bash her helmet in, right?
Well, she was, like, out of oxygen or something.
Well, it wasn't that she was out of oxygen. It was that when she fell down from
Mhm.
the pipe outside, at least this is from what I thought it was. When she's trying to pry that door open to get into the silo, she falls directly on her back where that oxygen tank is,
Mhm.
and I think she like damaged it in some way, which is why she had that extra urgency to remove the the thing. They also emphasized the heat tape on
Mhm.
her sleeve. So it was either that or some of the atmosphere got into her suit and she was already starting to feel the effect of whatever
Mm.
that is, right? Whether it's, I mean, maybe it's something worse than nuclear weapons. I mean, to kill you that fast um is pretty crazy. I'm
Yeah.
talking like hundreds of years later, you know? You
Yeah.
would think maybe it would be just severe radiation poisoning and then you would definitely get cancer and die within, months or something like that. But the way this show makes it seem is like that gets into your suit at all and you're dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does kinda seem like that. I think, you bring up a valid point. I didn't quite catch her landing, like, in a way that it looks like it may have broke her oxygen tank, but I suppose that could have been the case. I still didn't quite understand why she needed to, like, cut the rest of the suit off so fast. Like, I feel like just taking the mask off would have resolved that. So I
Well,
don't know if there was, like,
she
something on the suit or
oh, you're saying
or
why she
what.
ripped off the rest of the suit?
Yeah. Yeah, as rapidly as she did. I mean, like,
Well, the helmet doesn't just come off, obviously, because it's like drilled in,
yeah, it's
the
attached
helmet.
really, really well.
So, yeah, I could see your hesitation, you being such a rational person, but I think we're both pretty rational. That suit is probably priceless for the nuclear wasteland as long as you can try to repurpose that heat sealing tape. Like, what if this silo had nobody in there? It was a blight. She's dead. She can't go back up there, right? Her
Mhm.
only hope would be that she could travel from this silo to the other silo, right? Which
Yeah.
I feel like is has to happen because there doesn't seem to be much left in this silo, which leads me to a side note that I made when we see the whole flashback of the rebellion within that silo, right?
Mhm.
It seems the leader of that little brigade, which I don't know if we got his name. All we know is it's Timmy's dad. Uh,
Yeah.
he
It's good
spoke.
enough.
He spoke to. If you could pull up the IMDb to help me with references here, if they even have the information up yet, because we're so early with it. which gives me a little time to do a little plug for the people who will be listening to this probably more than likely tomorrow.
Go
Uh,
for it.
Welcome back to all you audience members who have been missing, or the ones who have decided to take a little hiatus for the last year because you just love your silo coverage so much. Welcome back to our series coverage. We're going to be doing our instant reactions live on Thursday nights, late East Coast time. So if that works for you, great. Join the party. If not, you can catch it the next day, or you can listen to our deep dives that we're going to be launching or publishing on Sunday nights, where it'll be a bit of a longer episode. As you remember, the instant reactions are shorter episodes. And for those of you who have not um, listened or watched some of our other episodes from over the last year, we've covered a ton of shows. In the meantime, we did Foundation season 2, we did Monarch Legacy of Monsters. What's the name of the Masters of the Air? We did Foundation. I mean, we've done so many shows in the last year that you have an archive of stuff, of companion podcasts to listen to as you join Silo. And as always, make sure to subscribe, follow, and rate this podcast because it helps us stay as the #1 Silo podcast in the world. All right, Zach, what is the name of the guy? Was it Dennis?
I'm not really seeing anything. This is going to be something that we need to do a deep dive into before our
Yeah.
deep dive.
True,
So I'm going to
true.
go and continue calling him Tim's dad for the time
Timmy's
being.
dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the scene pulled up here um, where he asks his wife, "Do you think he was lying?" Which we're gonna find out. Okay. Okay. So remember the guy we meet at the end? His name is Parsons. If you listen with subtitles or watch the show
Mhm.
with subtitles, right? And the guy's name is Russell. That is back from the rebellion days. Now he asks his wife, "Why didn't he open the door?" Which leads me to believe that they were also trying to get into that door that Juliette was trying to get into at the end of this episode, which is why they were trying to get to that specific floor. Now, that generator was going to flood. That's the thing with these silos, is that once those generators go, it's donezo. Like the whole thing is underwater. There's no,
There's no
no
getting
coming back.
power back on there, it seems like.
Yeah, which is what this guy essentially says, that they're screwed either way. Which is why I put that side note. Like, I didn't really know to what degree this silo was doomed, but I asked myself, why didn't they just send one guy out there first up top? Why did all of them march out up top at once? Did this guy do like a Jonestown or whatever that is, like a mass suicide? Like he knowingly took those people up top to die?
I don't know that he knowingly did. I mean, it looked like the culture inside of the silo thought everything that they believed was a lie. Like I feel like it's possible that this rebellion all happened at the same time. I don't know yet. I'm not going to make a prediction on that or anything, but I do feel like we're watching uh that silo where everybody walks outside, like at a state that's a bit farther beyond where Juliet's silo is currently at. Like everybody, starts questioning things. They think everything's a lie. They think it all is safe outside.
Mhm.
I mean, her walking completely off of this screen probably didn't help that matter much at all. I imagine everybody's rioting over in her silo at this point. Um, so no, I feel like this really just was a rebellion of people who thought they knew what was right. They thought it was safe outside, and they were sorely mistaken.
Well, I think I mean, this would be the second rebellion that takes place in Juliet's old silo, right?
Hmm.
Because the first rebellion, the powers that be won that fight, and so the narrative continued
Hmm.
in terms of what was going on in the silo to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So within that, I guess, like thinking about it from that perspective, they would need a second rebellion to win in order to, I guess, make any change. But you got to ask yourself, if the result is going to be what this silo with all the skeletons is, then you got to maybe be Team Bernard here in order to kind of keep the peace, which has kind of been a growing theory I've had, which is that it ain't all good up top, and that, like I've said before, that there really can't be democracy inside the silo. There has to be some sort of, one leader who, makes sure the ship steers in the right direction. Because if one person messes it up for everybody, everybody dies.
Yeah. Watch, watch Juliet come back to her silo, and everybody's, like, again, rioting, trying to break out, and she then kind of flips sides, and then she's trying to prevent everybody from breaking out 'cause she's like, "No, no, no. It's actually bad out there. Don't
I
do
could
that."
I could see
It's
that.
possible. It
Yeah,
is possible.
yeah, I could totally see that. I really enjoyed the fact that this episode only centered on Juliet. I didn't want much more than that. I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork of where we're going this season before we go back
Mm,
to the previous silo.
yeah.
But I did enjoy the tie-ins with her past and being a little kid and mechanical and all of that. Um, I think for now we haven't even seen the full purpose of those flashbacks, other than that story with Shirley where she says, well, you can get out of here too. Like, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna die, So
Mhm.
that kind of back up against the wall because we do know she's got no food. So she's like in this episode, she's expending so much energy. She's, which I got to make fun of something here. When she first sees that gap of the
Mhm.
for to go to the other side of that bridge,
Yeah.
she puts that rope smack dab in the middle and swings across. When if you look up at that bridge, it fully goes across to the other side. So all she had to do was slide that rope over just maybe
A
10
little
feet,
more.
and she wouldn't have had to do a whole, Drake's Uncharted rope swing across there. But it's a
I
drama, it's a thriller, so they
it
gotta put
is.
the rope in the middle.
I will say it also stressed me out how she tied it, like, with the end,
Yeah,
with that, like, second part of the knot she was trying to make. There was, like, no rope there. I'm like, "There's nothing to hold. It's gonna break.
yeah,
Something's gonna happen."
yeah.
But yeah, 3rd time's the charm, I suppose.
I was la
I'm surprised she got that last piece over there.
Well, I was laughing because in classic Silo fashion, they did something I wasn't expecting, which was, she falls, and I'm like, "Oh, hell
Yeah,
no." I was like, "This
I
shows
know.
she could
I was
die."
I was shocked for a moment, and then it brought me back, to the movie Up. You remember
I haven't
when,
watched
you got Russell, and then they're like they're right in the house,
that. Mhm.
flying over the town. He's like, "Look, I can see your house from here." And the guy gets an idea about, like, getting out a rope and holding him out to get him on a roof, and he lets go. First time I saw that, I gasped. I was like, "Whoa, did not expect that." I got the same feeling here, and, thankfully, Juliet learned to swim pretty quickly.
Yeah,
It's not just stuff that you sink in and die.
she got about the roughest, unexpected swim lesson. I do wonder how far that water has risen up, like how many floors it has, because the way it looked was that she was like hundreds of floors up. That's what it looked like
Yeah,
to me.
I thought she
So
was in the mids.
yeah, so that's my question. How on earth, like let's say it's flooded to the to
Mhm.
midway of the silo. How is she gonna get to the other silo? Like, is there a connecting point in the middle too, and not just on the bottom?
It's a
Maybe,
very good question.
maybe.
I was wondering if she was gonna find, like, some scuba gear and go diving way, way deep down into there, but, um, I have no idea. Like, I don't feel like up and out is the way to go because there's no way to get in from the top because the silo would have to let you back in. So she has to come in from the bottom, or to your point, some middle access point that we haven't been alerted about yet. But, I mean, when we think back to, like, season 1, I mean, there was a big focus on this hidden door down at the very bottom of the
Yeah,
silo, so
yeah.
it's gotta be that. Maybe it's not as flooded as we think, and maybe she's hundreds of stories
Maybe
down,
she's at
not
the
up.
bottom. Maybe she's at the bottom when she falls down there. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
Um,
possible.
there's also, I guess, the way the other silo was built. That section that had that door was almost completely separated from the silo itself. So maybe there's like a hallway that she can dig into or something that she could gain access
Mm.
without like pretty much gain access, but from a higher vantage point. Who knows? I'm assuming there's multiple entry points, not just at the bottom to that place. So we'll see what happens there. Um, did you watch the flashback in the beginning of the episode?
I did, yeah.
Not the flashback, the recap of
I
season 1.
did, I did watch the recap, yeah.
I feel like they set us up for what his storyline is going to be in this season. Um, and
Okay.
maybe we can save a little bit of that for the deep dive, but it's a key quote from Pete Nichols from
Mm,
last season where Sims is interrogating him to find out where Juliette is, and he says, "Would you
Will
help the
you
people who
help?
are hunting your
Yeah.
child?" And then it cuts to him and his wife and say, "We have one mission and one mission alone." And Sims is going to have to go back on his pledge that no one person is more important than 10,000. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be his thing. Is it his child over the silo, or is it the silo over the child? Right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I know you and I kind of talked about this in the like trailer review, but I really do think that Sims is going to be uh, mm, more on the side of like Juliet. Like I don't think he's going to be um, working for the system as much anymore. I feel like he's at a point where he's really starting to question things. We know he already prioritizes his family over the silo. It's just reemphasized from that flashback, um, like you were saying. So I would agree. I would agree with that completely.
Yeah. So Juliet goes into like Lego Minecraft mode and does the rope thing. Then she builds one bridge, not just one bridge. Then she builds a second bridge, and I feel like they were just kind of playing with us the whole time. Which because Juliet didn't really explore the floor very well before she
No,
was trying to go back across. But then again, maybe she was a little panicky because if she runs out of food, she's done for. I know she found water, but
that's
um,
true. But I mean, that's still a really big bet that there's something on the other side that will help you get back to where you started from. I was
yes.
very lucky.
No, you think? I feel like there could have
Yeah.
been furniture pieces and and at the end of the day, she has the water down there. She could just go back down and just jump back in. So
That's true. I thought about that too, just like jumping down into the water and climbing back out again.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But she hears the song Moon River, which is Audrey Hepburn's rendition of it.
huh.
Um, and she hears that in the distance, which made me wonder, did Parsons, the guy behind the door, know that someone was out there? Because he was very weird. I mean, he says, "Oh, you heard the song, good." But it was a very odd way
It
to
felt like an
introduce himself.
invitation, but also a weird warning.
It felt like an invitation, but then exactly, like, "Don't try to open this door, but you're cool, you can chill in the silo."
Yeah.
Maybe this is like a bubble boy type character, maybe he's never left that room before, and so he wants a friend, but he wants a friend on the other side of the door, but then he does shut the thing, so
Maybe there's a
maybe not.
whole world back there. Like maybe this is like one of those Fallout episodes where there's just like you open the door and there's a whole nother silo back there.
I don't know, man, he looks a little shady, he's got like like a one eye, he's definitely blind, like, in one eye or something like that, and, something's off about him. Now, I don't know if he's nervous and trying to play intimidating to try to, like, make sure he doesn't get killed, or
Hmm.
if he's actually a lunatic. He kinda looks a little bit like Jared Leto.
I thought he looked kind of like Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, I don't see it, but
Yeah.
I'd
I
have to relook at that
I
part
don't know.
and see.
He just he kind of reminds me of him for some reason. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine he knew Juliet was there. I don't know how on earth he could not have heard all of the racket and screaming and clanging and banging that Juliet made when she can somehow hear this very, very, very faint music off in the distance.
Well, it seems very clear that he played that song on purpose to get her to turn back. Now, what he needs from her, we'll find out, but I think they're both engineers at the end of the day. I think he's an engineer and so is she. So maybe that's where they have some sort of common thread that gets him to get over his distrust of her.
Yeah, it's possible.
Or maybe he's part of the overseer crew. Maybe he knows like a ton of stuff, like what the whole order is of what's going on. Um,
I don't think they would make it that easy. I don't think we would run into a situation in the show where, Juliet comes across like one all-knowing entity and it's just like, just spill the beans here. This is the plan. This is what's going on out there. I feel like there's still a lot that Juliet has to learn, on her own, not from this character.
do you think he's the only person in this silo, or do you think there's other people?
I feel like there's other people because if the reason I think there's probably other people is because I think the rebellion that we saw happened probably 140 years ago. I mean, all of those bodies are pretty well decayed.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, the only way that he could be in there and be his age is if there was somebody else in there to procreate with. So, um,
Yeah, so I was gonna say maybe his wife and kids, or who knows.
Yeah, I mean, and he must.
He looks very alone, though. If you look at his face, he just looks like a very distressed individual.
Well, I mean, if you lived your life, even if you had a family, but you live your life, and I don't know what's behind the door, a room, a small box, and there's no outside
It's
contact.
it's hard to
Yeah,
imagine
I
that.
can imagine that reaction.
Well, it's hard to imagine anybody would want to live like that, if they were alone, if they weren't guarding something,
Mhm.
if they weren't responsible
Or
for something,
someone. Yeah,
or someone. Like, think about it. Let's say you were this guy and you were down there for like 50 years by yourself.
it's a long time.
That's a long time. Like, I think anybody would be like, all right, it ain't worth it anymore. I'm gonna go outside at least. Like, I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna go outside for a walk. Maybe I'll go outside up top and join everybody else. I just feel like for that long, I don't know. He's got to be guarding something. Or do you think that he's just like the most strongest willed individual ever? Well, if he had nothing to guard, like, what would be the purpose of him not even taking any risks to try to connect to another silo?
I don't know, but I mean, that's my point. Like, I really don't know what's behind the door. Like, you were talking about maybe another access point midway. Maybe he's guarding another access point to another silo, and he didn't open the door because he knew everybody was gonna die and let in toxic
That's
something.
Yeah. I have a feeling that he's got something that he's guarding. That I mean, there's literally a keypad there. I don't know if that's the IT room. Maybe that is the IT room because that was similar to Bernard's where he had a little,
Mhm.
keypad. Um, but we'll find out because that's where the episode ends. So next week, that's it, bro. Apple, when they have their hit shows, they don't give you the 2 episodes on the premiere.
No, they know it's up. They did it for season 1, and they're like, "Everybody loves this show. They're gonna be back. They're gonna sit here. They're gonna watch the whole thing."
Yeah,
I did. I enjoyed it. It felt very much almost like I was watching a horror movie for part of that. It was a little spooky, uh, but I liked it. It was a really calm start. I love that we're picking up exactly where we left off in season 1.
same, same. Yeah, to your horror movie point, they did a lot of shots where it's like between railings and stuff, so it felt like somebody was watching her at all
Yeah,
times.
there was one, I wrote down when
It
she
was
was
probably.
building that first
Mhm.
bridge.
Yeah,
There was this one, like, off kilter shot, and it felt like it moved a little bit. That one freaked me out. I was like, "Oh, shoot, there's somebody else in there."
yeah, that's what I thought too. It might have just been him watching through the cameras, possibly. But
That's interesting.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
That's about it for the instant reaction. We're not gonna go too deep here. As you guys know, we do about a 25 to 30 minute, little episode here for the instant reaction. Zach, do you have any final comments to make on the episode? Good start for the premiere. Do we pick up? I'd say it's on the same quality level as last season, like right off the bat, if I had to say.
Yeah. No, I think I think it's a good start. It's really like a soft, uh, intro into season 2. I think, as we move into the next episode, we're really gonna start seeing these 2 different, like, storylines or timelines take place. One focused on, Juliet, and the other one, I imagine, will still be focused on her original silo because there's a lot that we're invested into there in terms of
Yeah,
characters like her
yeah,
father and
yeah.
Walker, which, by the way, was one of my favorite, scenes in this is some of the conversations between Walker and young Juliet. I always kind of enjoy those, um, even from season 1, so.
I did too, but you'll have to tune into our deep dive to find out my thoughts on those conversations.
Alrighty. Well, any plugs before we close this one out then?
No, just thanks as always. We're glad you guys are back and listening and watching Silo with us. Probably was my most hyped show this year, aside from House of the Dragon. So, as always, if you want to catch any of our other shows, we just finished covering Penguin on HBO Max, and lately, I mean, we've got so many shows that we've covered over the last year. Just scroll back and you'll see them. And if any of them intrigue you, make sure to sub and check those out. And there's plenty of comment features now on Spotify. They just updated their platform for that. So make sure you give us some feedback. Email us at contact@soapbox.house. Zach's going to do his plug as usual. And these episodes are brought to you by my company, 1992films.com, which is a full service production company. And Zach, who is at.
This is ZacharyRNewton.com, and I am a digital product company, so different. Mario does video, I do design.
Yeah.
Think applications.
Yeah. All righty, y'all. We will see you on Sunday for our deep dive. Make sure to email us with any theories, and we'll read them out on the deep dive as always. And yeah, make sure you get enough oxygen. Make sure you don't have any masks that are impeding your, breathing in case you inhale any outside silo toxins.
All right, awesome. Well, the baby is waking up, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up as well. So
Oh yeah,
good
yeah.
timing.
Since the last time we did silo, Zach had a baby. So yeah, there's that. A
Yeah,
silo baby. He's not gonna open
yeah.
the door.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not. But anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Story Archives. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Instagram. We're live there now too, so that's cool. You
Mhm.
can email us at contact@soapbox.house, visit our website at soapbox.house, and you'll find a bunch of links to our other shows on there, as well as links to our social platforms and anything else you might need. So again, thank you